These days, Jadeja bowls. Oh, he beats, he stops! Oh, that is so well bowled. No need to go upstairs. Labuschagne was beaten in flight. The man on debut, Bharat, does the rest with the stumping. Labuschagne dismissed, 1 run short of a half century. It's 3 for 84, but it's all about Jadeja around the wicket. Got Labuschagne drifting down the strip. It dipped on him delightfully. Suryakumar steady so far, facing line. His first ball against him. He bowls him! Oh, that is splendid. Through the gate, looking to drive expansively, and it crashes into off stump halfway up.
He's down the track. He's hitting this one through the covers and over the top. And that's going to go all the way. There it is. Century number 9 for Rohit Sharma in Test cricket. His 8th on home soil.
Magnificent innings, magnificent innings. Just the tempo of the innings, the fluency, the way he's played pace and spin, and total control.
Cummins against Rohit, bowls him! Oh, the stumps are cartwheeling. That's exactly what Australia needed. One captain castling another. Rohit Sharma's fantastic contribution comes to an end on 120.
Oh, that got him going, that drop catch. The action was complete there, on the money. And now you're talking. That was a very good delivery.
Murphy round the wicket. Well forward shout for leg before, and has spun and beat the inside edge. It's turned down by umpire Illingworth. 2 reds and 3 reds. Todd Murphy does it again. 5 wickets on Test debut. Jadeja 70. Murphy bowls him straight on with the arm. He's been threatening to do that, as if it were foretold. Jadeja leaves the wrong one, and Murphy gets a 6th.
Sensational off-spin bowling from Todd Murphy. Australia, you have yourself a star.
Ashwin closer to the stumps. Oh, edge, taking a slip. Straight forward. Ashwin's done that so many times to left-handers over the years. Combining with Kohli, waiting at first slip, fingers up, and Khawaja, after striking a fine boundary to get going, is now trudging off.
Straight away, Ashwin, we threw that. He threw that up. It's hit the rough outside off stump. Drew Khawaja into the drive and finding that outside edge. No problem at all there. And what a shame for Usman Khawaja.
Jadeja gets Labuschagne on the back foot. He whacks him on the pads and umpire gives it. He looked deep in his crease there, Marnus Labuschagne. He's going to ask David Warner whether or not he should go upstairs. But from our angle here, it looked pretty plumb. 2 for 34, and Warner's wrapped on the pads this time. Big shout, and Gibbon! Back-to-back boundaries, followed by a slightly straighter one. And Warner, will he go upstairs?
Well, Bharat Sundaresan, you said the straight one. This time we forgot the straight one.
Wraps him on the pads. Renshaw, he's back in his crease and he's been given. Finger went up pretty quickly, and Renshaw asking the question to Steve Smith. He's gone straight upstairs.
Australia will do very well to survive today's play.
Ashwin delivers. Carey. Reverse sweep, misses it. In line, gone. Yep, absolutely gone. 2 reds, which is the most important bit. Surely it's a 3rd. It absolutely is. Hitting middle stump halfway up. Ravichandran Ashwin has his 31st fifer in Test cricket. Couple of catching mid-wickets for Shami. Towards us, towards bowler. Delivers here, hits him on the pad. Shout for leg before. Up goes the finger. It looks like Boland's going to review, so the Test match isn't over quite yet. He has to review. They've got 1 left. The Indian fans are celebrating. They know it's out. Smith knows it's out as well. But they'll make the T sign, and we'll have that slight anticlimax here where India wait for it to be formalised. But in a couple of moments from now, Australia are going to be all out for 91 and defeated by an innings and loads. Watching the first replay here. Hits him on the knee roll in front of middle and leg. It only needs to be touching the leg stump to be confirmed as out. Michael going through the motions now, Casper.
Yeah, he will. Once again, I mentioned about a chance to celebrate twice here.
And here it is, DRS, the projection. 1 red, 2 reds. Umpire's call. That is the Test match done and dusted. Inside 8 sessions, Australia have been hammered across the 3 days, bowled out the second time around for just 91, their lowest score ever in India. A record they were so desperate to avoid, adding to having struggled in India, having won just one of the last 15, will make that one of their last 16 in this country. It was so comprehensive. Boland the last man to go for a duck. India victorious by an innings of 132 runs. Adam Collins, Brett Sundaration, SEN Test Cricket live from Nagpur. Thanks to Henley Homes, henley.com.au. It's afternoon 3. The Test match is over. The sun's still beating down on us. They should be playing cricket on the other side of those walls, but it's not to be because Australia were castled for 91 in their second innings, their lowest ever score in India, to lose by an innings and 132 runs. 5 wickets for Ashwin, a couple to Jadeja, who was player of the match after making his 70 in the first innings with the bat, leading India to 400 in their first innings, a lead of 223. They just smothered Australia in the end. Scoreboard pressure defined the way that Australia played the second time around, and once Ashwin got on top of them, there was no escaping it.
Yeah, it was a demolition job altogether. Australia lasted all of one session, 32 overs. In the middle session, that's all India needed to see off Australia. Coming into today's play, you thought Australia maybe still had hopes of making a match of it if they could get India all out for, say, 50 runs or 60 runs in addition to what they had on the board. But Ravindra Jadeja and Akshar Patel just kept batting, and then Mohammad Shami came and played that very dispiriting knock from an Australian sense, hit a lot of boundaries. And at that point, with the lead well over 200 runs, you knew Australia were under pressure, but then, like you said, Adam, Australia's batting in the second innings was rather disappointing. It was very pessimistic. They batted from the crease. It led to a lot of LBWs. And if you let the likes of Ashwin and Jadeja dictate terms in these conditions, they'll run roughshod over you, and that's exactly what happened to Australia.
Ashwin took 4 of the first 5. 5 of the first 6 were leg before wicket, reinforcing your point there. Earlier today, they kind of did as they did yesterday. They started the session well, Todd Murphy and Nathan Lyon, but Murphy especially. The way that he was able to set up Jadeja, we were on commentary at the time. It was a gorgeous piece of bowling to bend back the all-rounders off stump, letting a ball go. There was a great game of cat and mouse between the pair. But you touched on Shami. He hits 37, couple of sixes, indeed 3 sixes. Boland put him down early in the innings, but he put on 52 with Akshar Patel, who made 84 in the end, the Indian number 9. And by the time it was all done, we weren't really talking about, as we were in our preview, Australia batting for, say, 3 or 4 sessions and maybe setting 120. It was all about survival, and maybe that informed their thinking as well, and some poor shot selection, as you'll often see in a collapse like that.
Exactly. I mean, they went very defensive from early on. Khawaja starts well, puts away a half volley for 4, but that's a setup from Ashwin because he drags the length back ever so slightly. 2 balls later, has him caught at slip. David Warner starts very slow, doesn't move his feet too much. He's happy to be beaten on the outside edge, but I thought he could have used his crease a little more. And as a result, even though he did hit 2 boundaries of Ashwin, he just became a stationary target for Ashwin, and he hit his pad. And Ravindra Jadeja gets rid of the dangerous Manas Labuschagne, which started well again, but just one that slides through really quick and catches Manas on the back foot. So there was a theme to the dismissals as well. And once that happened, you kind of knew Renshaw and Peter Hanscom, unfortunately, just didn't look up for it against this Indian spin attack in these conditions. And then Akshar Patel comes on and, picks up a couple of wickets later on. But by then, the spirits were gone for Australia. It was a pretty dispirited performance. How they lift themselves up from here, it's still a long series, 3 more tests to go, will be the challenge. Because, look, India can be a very intimidating place when things are going against you. Catch-up cricket is very difficult to pull off in India. But if any team can, I think this Australian team can.
Yeah, you're right. By the time they were 3 for 34, it was like, well, it's a foregone conclusion where this is going. It's just how long they can drag it out. Steve Smith did a great job of that, by the way, making 25 not out. He tried his best to hold on. We've seen times where Australia have collapsed around him before. Another one to that catalogue, which is not an impressive one for them. I mentioned before, all out 91 being their lowest score in India, and you're talking about catch-up cricket. It'll have that sort of 2013 energy about it really here after they were thrashed in Madras in 2013. They found no way back into the series. So that's the challenge for Cummins and co. He will be aided by the return of Mitchell Starc in all probability for the second test. The availability of Josh Hazlewood and Cameron Green, who have been out in the middle bowling over the last couple of days. You touched on Renshaw and Hanscom. There'll be speculation around those two, given that Travis Head didn't play, but I thought Hanscom actually batted quite well. He gets out in the second innings cheaply, but using his feet and doing something a little bit different. Renshaw caught on the crease, leg before wicket in both innings for 0 and 2 respectively, so he might be the one in the most amount of trouble from a selection perspective if Green is fit. And if Green is fit, it does give them other options when it comes to playing potentially an extra spinner or an extra batter, because he does give them that balance as a bowling option at number 6.
Absolutely. With Todd Murphy having announced himself as well as he has, like maybe one of the best finger spinning spells we've ever seen from a non-subcontinental spinner in India. Lan and Murphy will play out the rest of the series. Can they add Ashton Agar to the mix? They'll depend on Cam Green bowling and adding that element to Australia's lineup. Will he bat as a batter? If he's fit enough, maybe he should. He played spin so well in Sri Lanka. But Travis Head needs to come back into this side. I think he had the confidence going into the series. I don't know where that confidence is after he was left out of this test. But someone like him, a game breaker, I think is what Australia lacked, especially in the second innings. I'm not saying that would have meant that they would have turned things around, but at least it might have given them some impetus out there in the middle. Yeah,
and in Green they've got someone that's taken the sweeping evangelically, really. He didn't sweep a lot until he went to Sri Lanka, and then he couldn't stop sweeping, and it worked well in Gaul alongside Carey, who again took that approach today and was out on the reverse, but you can't really blame him given the circumstances upon which he arrived at 5 for not many. So that's the end of the first test, an innings and 132 runs the final margin. Thanks to everybody who listened to our coverage throughout the course of the week, and of course to Henley Holmes as well, henley.com.au. We'll see you in Delhi.